So it seems like I got no brakes on my car anymore. So let's check it out. Let's try to find a solution. So in here, you'll see my pedal going almost to the floor. Felt like there had a lot of air bubbles in the system. Probably it was that, I don't know. So we'll open the hood just to check that indeed I have some brake fluid in the system, which you can see there's none of it. So it's completely empty. So I remember that I had like a little pool of brake fluid on the floor, so I'll try to check on the corner that I remembered where I had it. So I'll remove the front left wheel, and yeah, let's just loosen up the wheel nuts and lift it up from the floor and check it out. So here we take the wheel out, and well, seems like this is not the correct corner. Everything's fine, so let's lower it back to the floor and raise the back. Not before tightening everything up, just to make sure that I don't forget it. So let's take it back and lift the car. And in here you can see the little pool of brake fluid that was mentioned before. It looks quite recent, so yep. Now we're pretty sure that this is the right corner where we're having the problem. So let's loosen this side up and lift the car from the floor. Make sure it's officially off the floor, and take the wheel out. Yep, you can see here that there's a little bit of fluid on the brake line. So just to make sure, we put jacks on the floor. Try to make sure that everything's tight, and yeah, we can see that actually the hose is the one that is broken. So I just had to order some brake fluid, and yeah, we go ahead and change the brake hose from this side. First, this brake line was quite kind of new, so it was very easy to remove, and then we untightened the other side, which you'll see a little crack on the end here, there, that it broke. So yeah, that's I was making a little rant about that. So just took it out and had to wait another week to order the parts to actually fix that brake line. So yeah, just remove the brake hose. This is the problem, and this is the brake hose where it was leaking from. So, and this is what I broke. So now that I ordered everything, I had to wait another week to get everything from Amazon. And yeah, so lifting the car up a little bit more and making sure I have more space to work on. And these are all the tests that I was doing, because this is the first time that I make brake lines and I didn't want to mess it up. So these are all my tests. I needed to make sure that I was making double flared brake lines so that they handle all the pressure from the car. So this is the tool that it came with. So this is the tool that I had to make on my own with tools that I already had in my garage. So yeah, that's another problem. But yeah, we got through it, and you can see here that one end of the brake line is done, and it's working as expected. So now I just need to make the little brake line to patch the part that is missing. So in here I'm just taking some measurements just to make sure that I'm taking or I'm making the brake line the correct length, and in here I'm already making the actual brake line. If you see something sped up right before, it was my mistake. It was kind of I mean, yeah, I just didn't do it correctly, so I had to make it for a second time. Not big problem. Good thing I ordered enough brake lines, and I wasn't using that many of it. So yeah, here's my second try, and you can see that I'm measuring it just to make sure that I got the correct length, and adding it to the tool just to make the flare or the double flare on this tool. So I'm going to speed this up a little bit, hopefully. And yeah, you see me here putting the custom tool that I made so I can make the double flare, and adding it to the press and just adding some pressure so I can make the little bubble or double flare end into the brake line. making sure everything's lined up, and yep, here it is. Taking everything out of it and loosening it up, removing the custom tool, and you'll see here that we have a double flare, so yeah, should be working fine. Hopefully there are no leaks anymore. So adding the threaded part or threaded piece, making sure that I have the correct diameter and that it's everything formed correctly and in the center, which that could be a big problem in the future. So yeah, everything's lining up correctly and speeding this up for you, so you don't have to wait all of it. And this is the other end of it. So yeah, let's add this to the car, and you'll see here the little patch that I made. So yeah, it's this patch and then the brake hose that I needed to replace, which I thought in the beginning was the only problem. So yeah, and yeah, this is the top view of it. So yeah, everything's now lined correctly. Now I need to add some brake fluid and take out all the air bubbles from the system, or well, the whole air from the system, because now there's no bubbles. Adding the funnel, making sure there's enough brake fluid on the system before pressing on the brake pedal. And yeah, I got this little bottle, which is like a system to filter or remove all the air bubbles from the system, like this little bottle. And yeah, it's quite easy, it's just very fast. You just go through removing the air bubbles from the system, starting from the farthest wheel, which in this case is back right, then back left, then front right, then front left. So this is the last wheel I needed to remove the air bubbles. Just installing the wheel back on, making sure everything's tight, and yeah, lowering the car and torquing to spec so that they're not loose. Just adding the little cover for the wheel, removing the funnel and making sure that there's enough brake fluid on the system and not getting everything dirty, because the brake fluid can be pretty bad for everything, and covering up. And lastly, just make sure that the brake pedal feel is much better. There's no air bubbles on the system, that it's feeling properly. And you can see here my little test. Compared to the beginning, it's much better and firm. And just going for a little test drive. I just went through like really nearby. I didn't want it to go too far, just to make sure that I didn't crash or anything. Luckily nothing bad happened, and the whole system was working as expected. There was no brake fluid on the floor, there was nothing like squeezing out. So yeah, it seems like it was a successful job. It took a little bit longer than I expected, mainly because I needed to order more things to make it work. I didn't have all the tools at hand. But yeah, this is the solution. Yeah, I already drove it like 2 weeks now, and everything's working nicely. So this is me and at work, very happy, and everything's working. Bye.